I made 3 critical mistakes last year that massively hurt my business. We're talking $12,000 spent on software and hardware without seeing a single cent of return, building products no one wanted, and neglecting proper business organization. I want to share my screw-ups with you, so by the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize if you're at the risk of making the same mistakes right now, how to recover quickly if you already made them, and how to move forward without wasting more time and money like I did. Hey, welcome back. Tobias here, founder and solopreneur who made mistakes in 2025. My first screw up was to build what I wanted, not what the marketplace needed. And then I got sidetracked for months on end with non-essential things like new software and camera gear. That was mistake number 2, which unfortunately cost me tons of money as well. And number 3 was neglecting workflows and system optimization from day one. It was easy to overlook in the middle of all the craziness. So if you're in your first or second year of flying solo, my screw-ups hopefully save you that pain and thousands of dollars. So let's start with building what I wanted, not what the marketplace needed. Mistake 1. And a huge one that cost me 6 months of time. It's easy to fall for it if you think about it. If you're starting your own business, it's natural that you have strong feelings about your 3 Ps. You value your professional skills, you have passions you want to turn into an income, and you probably have massive pain points. You know, the things that really bug the hell out of you, and you want to fix them to make the world a better place. I mean, at least one of the 3 Ps you should be psyched about to turn them into a business, which means it's just so easy and natural to focus on what you can do or what you want. I worked as IT department head and organizational change manager for almost 5 years, so I had strong skills to fall back on. And there were huge pain points within the organizations I was working for that I wanted to see fixed. To be honest, I didn't think about this when I started out. I just went ahead full steam with what I had in mind, building what I thought was needed based on my ideas and assumptions, instead of figuring out what the market was actually willing to pay for. I had this vision for a multi-layered consulting service focused on organizational change management. I was obsessed with the concept, so I poured 6 months and about $12,000 of my personal savings into it. I set up websites, made lead magnets, mapped out entire online courses, recorded a 1-hour-long masterclass, and even created my own AI agents. I was convinced this was it, but the reaction was complete silence. No audience engagement, no interest, no nothing. And this is just such a classic rookie mistake, building what you want instead of what the marketplace needs. It's so dangerous when you're starting out because you have zero margin for long, expensive experiments that go nowhere. Your income is a roller coaster in the first year, if there is income at all. So don't build what you want, build what the marketplace needs. The question then is, how do you know if you're about to go down that rabbit hole? Well, you have to ask yourself 3 questions really, and as early as possible. First, can you describe who you help and the result they can expect in just 1 sentence, without the buzzwords? So instead of I offer business consulting, try something like I help solopreneurs go from idea to profit. That's already clearer and more specific, but still not as clear as it can be. So I'm working on that. The second question is, when you tell people what you do they get excited and say, oh, I know someone who really needs that? Or do you get a blank stare? And the third is, well, is your main service built around what you feel like creating, or is it built around a problem people have literally told you they would pay money for to get it solved? Based on the answers, be ruthless. Drop what isn't selling. It's easy to cling to an idea because of the time you've already sunk into it, but that's a trap in itself. The only thing it does is cost you more time and more money. I should know. I am the guy who literally spent 3 weeks designing a company logo and built entire websites for months on end that never even went live. If you're active on YouTube or social media in general, the lesson applies as well, by the way. Nobody is watching your stuff in the beginning. That's just how it is. So just publish your content and see what works and what doesn't. Let the audience decide. Then do more of the things that do work. It'll show you the direction to focus on, especially if you're a bit fuzzy about your 3Ps. It's what I'm doing right now with this video. Pushing content to get feedback fast instead of overthinking every single sentence for weeks on end. Chances are you won't even see this part, but hey, if you actually do, give this video a like. So based on the feedback, I at least have a chance to pivot if I needed to. If I just build what I want, it's much harder to change directions. That's how I ended up spending 6 months on stuff that didn't work. And when that finally became clear, like when the light bulb turned on, I started a new channel on YouTube in an afternoon, I set up a new website in about a week, and stopped overthinking so much. Now, the second screw up was developing shiny object syndrome. And that didn't just cost time, but literally thousands of dollars of my personal savings. While I was building the products that no one wanted, I was also obsessing over having the most professional looking setup possible. My reasoning was that I need proper tools to do proper business. So I ended up with a tough case of premature optimization, if you will. You know, spending time and money on fancy tools, gear, and software that I didn't really need. I kid you not when I say that I almost spent 8K on camera gear last year, thinking that would somehow make me do better videos. I justified it by telling myself the quality has to be perfect from day one. People won't take me seriously if my videos look amateur. But let's be fair. I mean, a certain level of quality is expected when it comes to video nowadays, right? I think we can agree on that. So upgrading from 1080p to 4K and buying a mic that's not built into the camera, that makes sense. But we're talking buying a second camera, fancy lights that I can control with my smartphone now, and all sorts of tiny gadgets that supposedly optimize video shooting. I went totally overboard. And aside from the money, I had to put in the time figuring out how all the stuff works. Think about it this way. High production value is a multiplier, but it's not base value. If your core product is 0, multiplying by $8,000 of camera gear still gets you 0. That was money completely wasted, at least at that point in time. We could argue that down the road it turns into an investment, and I really believe that. But in year 1, it's much more of a downside than an upside. The dangerous thing here is that it felt like I was making progress. Buying and setting up camera gear doesn't come with the risk of rejection like sales does. But really it was just a very expensive way of procrastinating. And the real cost wasn't just the money. It was the weeks I lost where I could have been talking to clients and testing my offers. Instead of making my business simpler, all this gear just added a layer of complexity I couldn't even handle properly, and I ended up less productive as a result. So just in case you're eyeing an expensive piece of gear or software right now, ask yourself, first, do you really need it or do you want it to satisfy a feeling? Second, did you spend more time setting up a new software, designing a logo, or messing with your website than you did talking to potential customers in the last 4 weeks alone? And third, are you putting off launching a simple offer because your systems, branding, or video quality aren't ready yet? If the answer is yes to any of those, you're probably at the risk of premature optimization. So here's the recovery plan. Hopefully, you already have a list of all the tools and the software that you use. If not, start a list right now. Then note down how often you use everything in the last 4 weeks. And whenever you come up with 0, cancel the subscription or consider selling that second camera. Commit to a lean tech stack. Seriously, most solopreneurs just need a few simple tools to start with. Don't fall for this whole AI optimization hype some YouTubers try to sell you. A proper email for business, a customer booking tool if you're into consulting, and a few basic cybersecurity measures like a password manager and multi-factor authentication will do just fine to get started. You definitely don't need a full-blown YouTube studio or an enterprise-level CRM from day one. Hey, quick interruption. I know we're talking a lot about mistakes in this video and how to avoid them. But there are also great decisions I made in my first year as a solopreneur, like investing in hardware and software that insanely boosted day-to-day operations in the most positive way I can imagine. I'll make a separate video about that, and if you want to see it, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate that, and it helps to spread this content to others who might benefit from it as well. That being said, let's get back to the next mistake. My third screw up is a classic early business killer, just winging it. I fell into this by focusing entirely on doing the work without giving any thought to how the work actually got done. I had no systems, like files all over my desktop or on different hard drives, or files not being named properly. So I couldn't remember anymore which was the most up-to-date version after a few days. It really tripped me up. This is so dangerous because as a solo business operator, you and I are literally the entire company. Without systems, the business is totally dependent on our limited energy and short-term memory. Systems are the antidote in that way. They create consistency. They make us more efficient because we can stop reinventing the same document every single day. Plus, it massively improves the quality of the work by reducing mistakes. If you're neglecting your systems, ask yourself, do you find yourself writing the same kind of email over and over again? Is every client project new with no standard set of steps? Do you constantly have that feeling that you're forgetting something important? If that sounds about right, you're probably winging it just like I was. Just to be clear, of course, there is a phase in the beginning when workflows and systems need to be established first, with lots and lots of iteration and improvement. That's a normal part of the process. What I'm talking about here is an ongoing phase of chaos and neglecting to introduce standards and workflow after 6 months, 12 months, or even after that. If you do videos like me, you can start fresh in your editing software a few times. That's no big deal. But eventually you need to save a template with the stuff you reuse often, like this subscribe animation, for example. If you get regular invoices for software subscriptions, you need to come up with a naming convention for your files. Same goes for client projects and so on. If you pass that initial iteration stage already, just pick one single process to fix right now. And don't try to organize the entire business overnight. That's just too much. A good place to start are content creation processes or how you organize your files. You know, there's a saying, well-being is realized in small steps, but it's no small thing. The same is true for business organization from day one. And this brings us to today's conclusion, really. Validate before you build, so you don't waste time building what you want instead of what the market needs. Avoid premature optimization when it comes to software and gear, and organize your workflows from day one. A lean system isn't just nice to have, it's the foundation of your business that turns chaos into profit. That being said, I hope you join me next week again so I can share the best decisions I made in my first year, like investing in hardware and software that actually boosted my day-to-day operations in the most positive way I can imagine. Until then, watch one of these videos next, and I see you next week.